Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive that's gonna seriously make you question, like, everything. We're going deep down the rabbit hole of reality itself.
Oh, I love a good rabbit hole.
Right. So to guide us, we've got this YouTube video called Get This. Everything feels real until you look closer. It's from a channel called Quantum Wisdom.
I've seen this one. It's pretty mind-blowing. It really makes you rethink, how we experience the world.
Totally. And that's what we're going to unpack. We'll pull out the juiciest bits from the video, add our own 2 cents, and hopefully by the end you'll be looking at, well, everything a little differently.
It's like fun.
So the video kicks off with this huge claim, the physical world, mostly empty space, even though, it feels super solid. We bump into things, stub our toes.
Yeah, it feels real. But think about it. At the atomic level, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Right? Atoms are mostly empty space with these tiny little particles just zipping around a nucleus.
Okay, so you're saying my desk, this microphone, it's all just an illusion of solidity. Whoa.
Pretty much. It's the forces between those tiny particles. Those are what give us that feeling of solidity, like a magic trick almost.
Blown. So then the video takes this even further. It's not just that things aren't as solid as we think. It's that our whole perception of reality, well, it's not just about what our senses pick up.
Oh, absolutely. Our beliefs, our expectations, they play a huge role. Like two people can see the same thing, same event, but their memory, totally different.
So basically, everyone's living in their own personal reality show.
That's a great way to put it. And the video really digs into this question of self-identity too. Are we really who we think we are? Or are we just a collection of beliefs and ideas we've picked up along the way?
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying my personality, my values, all that stuff, it could all be based on things I've just absorbed from my family, society, whatever.
It's a trippy thought, right? The video really challenges us to question everything we think we know about ourselves. Huh. It's strip away all those labels, all those roles, and then what's left? Who are you at your core?
This is giving me some serious matrix. That whole idea of a mental matrix that shapes how we see the world. We're all plugged in.
Exactly. The video uses that term too. It's like this filter, this mental matrix that colors our perception. And guess what plays a big role in keeping us, plugged in? Fear.
I don't like where this is going.
Well, think about it. When you're afraid of something, your mind, it kind of looks for evidence to confirm that fear. So you end up attracting the very thing you're trying to avoid.
So if I'm constantly worrying about failing at something, I'm actually making it more likely to happen.
The mind's a powerful thing. But here's the good news. We can change it. If we can't become aware of that mental matrix, see the fears that keep us trapped.
Okay, but how? How do we actually break free?
That's where the video gets really interesting. It's all about questioning everything. Don't just accept what you see or what you're told. Dig deeper, challenge those assumptions, and really ask yourself, why do I believe this?
So it's about becoming more conscious, waking up to the stories we're telling ourselves.
Exactly. Are those stories facts or just some deep-seated beliefs that might be holding you back? And the video actually paints a pretty inspiring picture of what life can be like once you step outside that mental matrix.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. So paint me a picture. What does that kind of freedom actually look like?
It's about seeing opportunities that others miss, feeling calm amidst the chaos and realizing your own inherent power to create the life you want.
That sounds pretty amazing. But if this freedom's available to everyone, why aren't more people, experiencing it? What's keeping them stuck?
Well, the video talks about how most people are basically asleep to the illusion. They don't realize the creative power they have. They're just reacting to life instead of consciously creating it.
So they're on autopilot, just going through the motions.
Pretty much. And they might complain about the same problems over and over, but never question why those problems keep showing up. It's like they're stuck in this loop, this repeating scene.
But the video also talks about those who wake up, right? The ones who start to see things differently and realize their own power.
Yeah. They notice patterns, connections that were always there, but they just couldn't see them before. It's like going from blurry vision to suddenly seeing in high definition.
High definition reality. I like that. So this awareness, this is the key to breaking free.
Yeah, it's huge. It's about stepping outside that mental matrix and seeing things from a totally new perspective.
Okay, but how do we actually cultivate this awareness? What can we do to start waking up?
It's simple, but not always easy. Question everything. Don't take things at face value. Dig deeper. Challenge those assumptions.
Like taking that red pill in the Matrix, huh? Choosing to see the truth, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
Precisely. The truth is we have way more control over our reality than we think. We've been conditioned to believe we're victims of circumstance. But this video, It reminds us that we're actually creators.
Creators, huh? So where do we even begin to create this new reality?
Well, we've talked about self-identity, right? That's a great starting point. The video suggests really examining your beliefs, your values, trying to peel back those layers of conditioning that shaped your sense of self.
So like asking where those beliefs even came from. Are they really mine, or did I just inherit them from somewhere else?
Exactly. And once you start questioning, that's when things get really interesting.
So what happens? Do we just toss out all those old beliefs and start from scratch?
Not necessarily. It's more about becoming aware of the beliefs driving your thoughts, feelings, actions. And then you choose. Keep the ones that empower you, ditch the ones holding you back.
So it's like spring cleaning for our beliefs.
I like that.
Yeah.
And as you clear out that mental clutter, you make space for something new to emerge. A new sense of self, a new vision of reality, a whole new way of being in the world.
I'm feeling a sense of possibility here, but also like a little bit overwhelmed. There's so much to unpack. Oh, absolutely. But that's the beauty of it, There's no rush, no right or wrong way to do this. Be curious, experiment, and find what resonates.
So trust my gut. Do what feels right.
Exactly. Which brings us to perhaps the most mind-blowing idea in the whole video. Time, as we know it, is an illusion.
Hold on, time is an illusion. I thought we were talking about breaking free from the mental matrix, not messing with the very fabric of space and time.
No, right? It sounds crazy. But the video makes a really interesting argument. It's saying the past, that only exists in memory. The future, that's just imagination. The only thing real, truly real, is this present moment.
So all those worries about the future, regrets about the past, they're not even real.
Well, they're real thoughts, real feelings, but the video says they're not real in the way we usually think. They're mental constructs that keep us trapped in a cycle of anxiety and discontent.
So if we could escape this illusion of time, we could be free from all that mental baggage. That's the idea. The video argues that true happiness, real fulfillment, it's only possible right now, in the present, not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future.
I can see the logic there, but how do we actually do that? Escape the time trap? How do we stop our minds from constantly jumping around?
The video talks about mindfulness, which you might have heard of. It's basically about becoming aware of your thought, and when they wander to the past or future, gently guiding them back to the present.
Mindfulness, yeah, it's everywhere these days. To be honest, I always thought it was kind of a trendy buzzword, like, oh, look at me, I'm so mindful.
Oh, for sure, it's trendy. But it's also a practice that's been around forever. And there's actually real science behind it. Studies show it can help with stress, focus, you name it.
Okay, so what does mindfulness actually look like in practice? Do I have to climb a mountain and meditate for hours?
Well, you could, but it doesn't have to be that intense. You can practice mindfulness anywhere, anytime. It's just about taking those little moments to pause, breathe, and really tune into your senses.
So just noticing the taste of my coffee or how the sun feels on my skin.
Exactly. Or it could be more structured, like meditation or yoga. Find what works for you and make it a habit.
Okay, this is starting to sound a lot more doable, but I imagine it's still pretty hard to retrain your brain to stay present, especially with all the distractions these days.
It's definitely a practice. It takes time and patience. You'll get distracted, your mind will wander, but that's okay. Just gently bring it back to the present. Be kind to yourself.
So it's not about having an empty mind or stopping all thoughts altogether?
Nope, not at all. It's more about noticing the thoughts, becoming aware of them, and then choosing to focus on the present moment. And as you practice, you start to realize the present moment is all there really is. That's where life unfolds, where we connect with ourselves, with the world around us.
It's where the magic happens.
Exactly. But, even when we're trying to live in the present, that pesky fear can still sneak in.
Ugh, tell me about it. Fear can be such a party pooper.
It really can. And the video talks about how fear keeps us stuck, even when we know there's something better out there.
It's like we're choosing comfort over freedom.
It happens all the time. But here's the thing. The video says fear is an illusion too. It only has power over us if we believe it.
So we need to stop believing in our fears. How do we do that?
The video says we need to face them head on.
Oh, no, I don't know about that. Confronting my fears. I'd rather just hide under the covers.
It's totally understandable to feel that way.
Yeah.
But the video says our fears are often based on these stories we tell ourselves. And those stories, they might not even be true.
Okay, I'm listening. So we need to question those stories.
Exactly. Shine a light on them. Examine them closely. They might lose their power over you.
So what, I should just march up to my fears and say, hey, what's up?
You could, but it's more about getting curious, trying to understand them. What's this fear really about?
And maybe in the process, we realize they're not so scary after all.
You got it. When we face our fears, we unlock a whole new level of freedom and possibility. We realize we're stronger and more capable than we ever thought.
I love this idea of reclaiming our power, but I'm also thinking about the practical side of things. How do we actually start applying these ideas to our lives?
That's a great question, and one we're going to dig into after the break. We'll explore some specific techniques for shifting our beliefs, rewiring our thinking, and creating a reality that's truly aligned with who we are.
This is getting good. I'm ready to dive even deeper. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back, and my brain is officially buzzing. That whole time is an illusion thing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're so used to thinking of time as this like straight line, always moving forward. But what if that's just, a story we tell ourselves?
Okay, so if time isn't really what we think it is, what is the illusion exactly? What are we getting wrong?
Well, the illusion is that the past and the future are these like solid, fixed things. But the video says they only really exist in our minds, as memories and imaginations.
So, like, my memories of that awesome concert last month or my plans for, say, a beach vacation next year, those aren't actually real places and time I can visit.
Not exactly. They're thoughts, feelings, real in that sense, but the video says we give them way too much power. We get stuck in the past regretting things, or we worry about the future, and all that mental time travel, it steals our joy from the present moment.
Man, that's so true. I'm always either dwelling on something I messed up or freaking out about what might happen. It's exhausting.
Totally. And it keeps us from enjoying the good stuff that's happening right now. The video says real happiness, true fulfillment, that's only possible in the present moment, not the past, not the future, right here, right now.
I get it. But how do we actually escape the time trap? How do we, train our brains to stop jumping around so much?
The video suggests mindfulness, which is basically about noticing when your mind wanders off and gently bringing it back to the present.
Okay, mindfulness. Full disclosure, I always kind of rolled my eyes at that word. It seemed a bit, too new agey for me.
Yeah, it gets thrown around a lot. But there's actually some serious science behind it. Studies show it can reduce stress, improve focus, all sorts of good stuff.
So what does mindfulness actually look like in practice? Do I have to, sit on a cushion and chant for an hour?
Well, you could if you want, but it doesn't have to be that formal. You can practice mindfulness anywhere, anytime. It's just about taking little pauses throughout the day to, just breathe and notice your senses.
I feel like really savoring that first sip of coffee in the morning or feeling the breeze on my face.
Exactly. Or it could be something more structured, like meditation or yoga.
Yeah.
Find what works for you and make it a regular thing.
Okay, this is starting to sound less intimidating and more, actually kind of relaxing. But I imagine it's still pretty tough to, rewire your brain to stay present, especially in this crazy, busy world.
It's definitely a practice, not a quick fix.
Yeah.
You're going to get distracted, your mind will wander, but that's totally normal. Just gently bring it back. No judgment.
So it's not about having, a completely blank mind or anything?
Nope.
No.
It's more about noticing the thought without getting carried away by them, and then gently shifting your focus back to the present moment, to your breath, to your body, to what's happening right now.
And as we practice, we start to see that the present moment really is all there is.
Exactly. It's where life actually happens. It's where we can connect with ourselves, with the world, with everything.
It's where the magic is. But even when we're trying to stay present, that fear thing, it can still creep in.
Fear is a sneaky one. The video talks about how fear keeps us playing small, even when we know deep down we're capable of so much more.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. It's like I'm afraid to go after what I really want in case I, fail or something.
So common. But the video says fear is an illusion too. It only has power over us if we let it.
So how do we stop letting it control us? Do we just, ignore it and hope it goes away?
That rarely works. The video suggests something a bit more courageous. It says we need to face our fears head on.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. Facing my fears sounds terrifying. Can't I just hide from them instead?
I get it. It can be scary. But the video says our fears are often based on these stories we tell ourselves. Stories that may not even be true.
Okay, so we need to question those stories, interrogate them.
Exactly. Shine a light on them, see what they're really made of. They might lose their grip on you.
So it's not about pretending our fears don't exist. It's about, getting curious about them, seeing what we can learn from them.
Yes. When we face our fears, we open ourselves up to so much freedom, so much possibility. We realize we're stronger than we thought.
This is all incredibly inspiring, but I'm also wondering about the practical side of things. If we're trying to break free from the illusion, what are some concrete steps we can take? How do we actually make changes in our lives?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's exactly what we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore some specific techniques for shifting our beliefs, changing our thinking, and creating a reality that's truly aligned with who we are at our core.
This is getting good. Stick around, everyone, because we're about to get practical. Okay, so we're back. And I gotta say, my mind is officially blown wide open. All this talk about breaking free from the illusion, creating our own reality, It's a lot to process.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff for sure. And I think that's why it's so exciting. It's like we're being handed this huge toolbox filled with all these amazing tools for building the life we want. But most of us don't even know the toolbox exists.
Okay, I love that analogy. So where do we even begin? What are some of the tools we can use to start actually applying all this to our lives?
Well, the video really emphasizes the power of our thoughts. Like literally our thoughts create our reality. So if we want to change our reality, we got to start with changing our thoughts.
Okay, I'm following you so far. But how exactly do we change our thoughts? Our minds are kind of constantly on overdrive,
Oh, totally. It's
Yeah.
like a nonstop chatterbox up there. But the first step is just noticing, becoming aware of the kinds of thoughts you're having. Like, are they mostly positive, negative, focused on the past, the future, or the present?
So it's about taking inventory of that mental chatter, seeing the patterns, the themes that keep popping up.
I got it. And once you've identified those patterns, that's when the real work begins. You start to challenge those thoughts. Like if you notice a lot of negative self-talk, ask yourself, is that really true? Is it based on fact or just an old story you've been telling yourself?
So it's like replacing those old limiting beliefs with more empowering ones.
Bingo. And one powerful tool for doing that is affirmations. Those positive statements you repeat to yourself to kind of reprogram your subconscious mind.
So instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, I could say, I am worthy and deserving of love and success.
Exact. It might feel kind of silly at first, but the more you repeat it, the more you start to believe it. And guess what? As you believe it, it starts to show up in your life.
Oh, that's powerful stuff. So we can actually change our brains by just choosing different thoughts and words.
Yep, pretty amazing. But here's another key ingredient: action. You can think all the positive thoughts you want, repeat affirmations all day long, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to change.
So if I want to write a book, I can't just sit around daydreaming about it. I got to actually, sit down and write.
Exactly. Action is what turns those thoughts and beliefs into tangible results. It's how we bring our dreams to life.
But what if fear gets in the way? What if I'm too scared to take action, because I might fail or something?
Fear. That old chestnut. Or remember what we talked about earlier. The video says we got to face those fears head on.
I don't know. That sounds kind of scary. Maybe I'll just stick with hiding from them for a while longer.
It's tempting. I get it. But facing your fears, it's the key to unlocking a whole new level of freedom and power.
Okay, so how do we actually face our fears?
Start by acknowledging them. Don't try to push them away. Say, hey, fear, I see you there. What's up? Then get curious. Ask yourself, what's this fear really about? Is it based on something real or just an old, outdated story?
So it's more about understanding our fears rather than trying to conquer them.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And, as you start to understand them, they often lose their power over.
It's like when you turn on the light in a dark room and all those scary shadows disappear.
Exactly. And then here's the key. Take action anyway, even if you're still a little afraid. Because the more you do it, the more confident you'll become. You'll start to see that you're capable of way more than you thought.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But I also want to acknowledge that this is a process, right? Breaking free from the illusion, it's not going to happen overnight.
For sure. It's an ongoing journey, a constant evolution. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your wins, learn from your setbacks, and most importantly, enjoy the ride.
That's such a good reminder. It's easy to get caught up in trying to be perfect and forget that this is all about exploring and growing.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, this whole journey is about remembering who we truly are. It's about realizing that we're not just these limited separate selves, but something so much bigger, so much more connected to everything around us.
I feel like this video has given us so much to think about, so much to explore. It's like we've been given a glimpse into a whole new way of seeing the world and ourselves.
And it's not just about seeing it differently, it's about feeling it differently,
Yeah.
about experiencing life with more joy, more freedom, more love.
I love that. So to all our listeners out there, what reality are you choosing to create today? What thoughts will you think? What actions will you take? Remember, the power is yours. You are free. You were free all along.
You got this.